Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pixel Ship Podcast. Today is April 30th, 2014. This week I am joined by Joel Hartlob,
Hey,
Neil Lebo,
yeah.
Ryan Blandy,
You all tickle my fancy.
and myself, Ryan Hayes. Together we make up the crew of the Pixel Ship. You can visit our website at pixelship.net for gameplay, articles, reviews, and this podcast. We usually start out during the week talking about what we've played over the past 7 days. So, Joel, what have you been playing this week?
I played a little bit of Dragon Age 2 again. Still trying to slug through that,
Still
and
slugging through.
You
I'm gonna
gotta
tell
do
you,
it,
it's
especially
probably
with
gonna
the new
take a
one coming
while.
out.
It's probably gonna take a while, just because I don't know, it's grueling.
They're long-ass games.
But the cool thing is, okay, I do remember playing through and getting like those little tidbits of the story that are awesome. Like anything involving the air shock, I thought was
Yeah,
awesome.
the story's pretty good.
But the problem is, you have to play through like 10 hours of the crap to get to that point, and
Yup,
that's the shitty part.
So that's what really bothers me is a lot of those games I can't get into because it takes so long to kind of get into the groove and get into the rhythm.
Not all of them are like that.
Not all of them, but a very large majority of them are. Like RPGs, and, there's just a lot of games out there when they have, 30, 40 hours of gameplay. It's like, alright, well, it takes 5 to 10 hours to actually establish yourself.
Yeah, that's somewhat legitimate, but I mean, at the same time, like there's usually something that keeps you going, whether it's the gameplay itself or the story,
Sure.
and
hmm
generally the story is going to keep you going because you get a decent amount of it within that first five. Like usually the first 5 or so hours, you're going to get a fair amount of opening story and dialogue and all that stuff that intrigues you enough to keep you going. I would say that the best games do that very well, and this just is one that isn't doing it very well,
Is not one of
and
the
it
best
makes it a lot
games.
harder
No.
to play. And
But you
I'll,
gotta
But
get
the
to it 'cause
ending
the
is
new one's
awesome.
coming.
yeah, I mean, I'll stop talking about it at this point because I feel like it's like a month straight that I've been talking about how I'm trying to slug through this game. So just assume from this point on that I'm still
Until
trying to
the
play
new
that
one
game.
comes out, you will
Yeah,
be playing this.
until I come on here and I'm like, I beat Dragon Age. Then, you know.
What else have you
But
been playing?
other than that, I mean, I played some Hearthstone, and I don't think I played much else, to be honest.
I've been meaning to give Hearthstone a try. That's the Blizzard card game, right?
Right.
Are you enjoying it? Like, is it?
I like it. It's fun. It's pretty simple
Okay,
too.
apparently.
Yeah, it looks straightforward. It looks, something you can play a couple rounds in, like, a half hour,
Yeah. I
45
mean, yeah,
minutes.
it's pretty quick too. That's the other thing. It's I mean, it's just, it's a nice little card game. It's simple and complex at the same time. Like it's kind of how I view Super Smash Brothers. Like the game's not really all that complicated, but it is.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to who you're matched with. So the matchmaking is
hmm
pretty decent. You're not getting stomped every time or not blowing people out of the water. Like, is there a pretty even split of, wins and losses?
Well, I haven't really been doing any rank stuff
Okay.
because I just don't have the cards yet.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like to build a half decent deck. So I've just kind of like been messing around in the casual circuit, and I think I mean, for what I can tell, it still ranks you up with, or at least matches you up with people that are close to your rank.
Mm-hmm.
Because the games that I've played, like I'm not getting steamrolled or anything. Uh,
Not yet.
no, but like I said, I haven't played any of the ranked matches, so I'm not ranking up to be playing all those other people. I mean, I think the cool thing about it is it's a free to play game that really isn't like it has like the purchasable stuff, but you really aren't like cornered into purchasing anything because they have these daily quests that you can complete where you earn the gold, and you can use that gold to either buy card packs or enter into the whole arena thing, which is like kind of like a draft sort of situation. Um, and it's you earn enough gold by completing these quests that you don't really need to spend any money to uh, to enjoy the game.
It
And
just
I-
kind of helps with pacing a little bit to kind of
Right.
keep you coming. It's more of a draw than a gateway.
Right. It's a boon, but it's not a hindrance.
Okay.
You know, it's. I think it's well done, and I like that about it.
So if somebody wants to get into the game quick though and doesn't mind pouring money into it, they
Right.
can do such things.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like your typical TCG where you can go out and just buy whatever cards you want. You still have to fight through the randomness of the card packs that you buy. You know, like there's nowhere to go where you can just be like, oh, I want this card, and then pay so much for it or whatever. So, I mean, I kind of like that about it too, I guess maybe because it makes it a little more interesting when you get your packs. Plus, you get like I don't know when you get like those legendaries and stuff. It's pretty good feeling.
Well, it's like getting a shiny Marvel cards or something like that.
Yeah. Which they have those. They have the golden cards,
Yeah.
golden versions of cards, which are kind of cool.
Can you sell these
But-
cards?
So they're like
Not
foils.
for money.
The golden.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
But no, you can't sell them for money.
Not even like, Blizzard money.
No, what you can do is it's disenchant them, which then you'll get dust and stuff, which you can use to create the cards you want.
Okay.
I guess that is actually a very important part to mention. You can disenchant the cards that you don't want or don't feel like using or don't think you use or that you have more than enough because you can only have two of the same card in a deck, except for legendaries you can only have one.
Okay, so a play set would be 2, and you can just destroy
Exactly.
your
And then you
excess.
Wait, can you have Can you have a legendary of the same card so that you have 3 of those cards?
No, because that's not how it works. Legendaries are specific cards. It's a specific card. Like you can only ever have one of that legendary in your deck.
Okay.
So like Leroy Jenkins is a legendary card. So
Leroy Jenkins.
You can only ever have one Leroy Jenkins in your deck. But you can have multiple legendaries, just not of the same type.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's something I've been meaning to take a look at. It's a free to play game that actually kind of intrigued me. So it's Blizzard, so they put a lot of love into it.
Yep.
I think it's also interesting how they handle the chat system. You have like a few little emotes. So
Yeah, so you can't like trash talk and whine and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People would definitely abuse that pretty quick, but it's nice because you can squelch them.
cool.
Squelch.
Is that pretty much it, or are you playing anything else?
No, that was pretty much it.
All right, Ryan, how about you? What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a multitude of things. Obviously, my Team Fortress and my Plants vs Zombies,
Sure.
of course. And then I got a phone that can play the video games, so I went on a mobile gaming binge, and I bought a few games.
Hold on. What kind of phone did you get?
Shut up! I got your freaking phone. That's what I got.
What phone is it?
It's a Galaxy S5.
Okay. And what games were you playing?
All right, so first, there's a Doctor Who game
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of like Candy Crush. It's addicting. It's got light RPG elements. I'm leveling people up. I've got the 10th Doctor, and then I've got the 10th Doctor clone, and I'm trying to get more of the Davies era people. I'm trying to get Captain Jack, and you level them all up, and you fight bosses, but how you fight is with the Candy Crush bullshit. It's addicting, it's fun, and it's free. You can pay for stuff if you want, but
Yeah, like unlocking.
fuck that,
or
I don't do that.
skins Or, sure.
and then I
So
wanted.
hold on. Let me dust over this a little bit.
What's
You're
up?
playing Candy Crush now?
It's kind of like
Oh, Doctor Who skin Candy Crush. That's how they get
Oh.
you.
I mean that makes
that's
it.
how they get me.
I mean, there's something to those games. That was always like Bejeweled and all those. Like, they're legitimately
Yeah,
fun
maybe
games.
it's more like
It's
Bejeweled.
just, what was
I
that?
don't know. I've never played Candy Crush, but I assume it's like that. But I have played Bejeweled, so it's like Bejeweled.
I like Bejeweled.
It's pretty much Bejeweled.
The only game like that I actually like really got into was Hexic when I first
Yeah,
got the 360.
absolutely.
Like that game kind of owned me for a little bit.
There was
I had
one
that on my
for
Zoom.
the Dreamcast that I think was very similar to Hexic, where it's color matching and all that.
They have what, Columns, but that was a Sega game or a Genesis game.
No, this was for Dreamcast. Like, it was all swirls because it was like the Dreamcast logo. I don't remember what it was.
Then,
All right.
all right, second game I bought, Shadowrun. It's Shadowrun. There's no difference.
Yeah, I
If
just
you
bought it. I
Shadowrun
bought it
on
yesterday.
Steam, and then you buy it on Google Play. It's the same fucking game.
Is it
Although-
significantly different price?
Well, yeah, I bought it for $4.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
$4.99 I think right now.
So that's something that always interests me to kind of figure out, you know, paying $5 because it's on mobile when it's essentially the same exact thing. You know, we
It's-
don't have cross-buy or anything like that yet for the PC, at least not on
Uh-huh.
a lot of things. It's just weird, like, how some things are devalued. Because, what was the XCOM did that, too. It was like,
Yeah,
$10
XCOM's
for
$10 right now.
but it's the full game. Like,
Is it?
Full
Is
game,
it?
man,
It's
full
the full
game.
game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, you got to realize.
it doesn't have the expansion. All
Okay.
right, which if you played the expansion, you don't know how you played without it.
But I would consider getting Shadowrun on a tablet. That to me seems like a good time.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it is that the text is small.
Yeah, but not on a tablet.
Not on a tablet,
You put
but
that
on
on
my
a 10-inch
phone,
tablet,
yeah,
you're
it's
good to go.
pretty
I-
fucking small.
I would have to say that XCOM would probably play pretty well on a tablet. It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the way it's
didn't
designed.
buy XCOM. I bought Shadowrun.
I feel like you should.
But it
Well,
plays the same.
I
like
had
you're
a
not,
gift card. I had to use my money how I saw fit.
but you're not
because-
having any trouble that it's on a phone. Like, it controls fine. It's not lagging down. It's not slowing down. I mean, your phone.
I mean, like I have seen. I don't know if it's just my phone. I gotta check if it's like bogging stuff down. If it's just the game or it's bogging down because it's using too much battery and then it goes into power save times.
What? No. One thing that's a little annoying about the S5 is it doesn't close programs. So you have to go in and actually like physically rip them down.
That's Android across the board. Everything kind of goes into a dormant mode so it can
Right.
launch faster. Like, that's just the way Android is built.
So I mean, that's a little annoying. And if you
Sure.
don't do that, it can bog down because you've got 95 programs running in the background.
I've seen that happen.
I generally end up restarting my phone. I have the S3. I end up restarting my phone probably about once a week, and I've noticed a significant kind of performance change when I try to launch something.
Yeah.
It just kind of clears everything because I don't go in and clear anything out. So
So hey, going back to video games, XCOM, man, that is a game.
XCOM is a great.
Seriously though, like I need more of that game. I was actually considering. I already put like well over 60 hours into that game, and I was really considering going back and playing it some more. Like,
Well,
Do you
you-
ever consider?
You got the expansion, right?
oh yeah, just
Yeah, the expansion's great.
even without the expansion, it's still a great game. But the expansion, man, it's just like I played that game on 360, and then like got it for PC and got the expansion with it, and put another like ridiculous number of hours into it. That game.
Got it.
Do you have any
Oh,
interest
man.
in the first-person shooter version, the Declassified or whatever it's called?
No, not really. I heard it got pretty bad reviews, and it didn't really look very good. So I wasn't really. It seemed intriguing at first, but the more I look and read about it, it just doesn't.
It just seemed very generic. It seemed, it's cover-based. Your AI is completely incompetent, and
Well, from what I was reading, that was originally a game that they were trying to release with the XCOM tag, and then Firaxis swooped in and did what they did, and I haven't looked back because
Well, it's going to be some time until they make another XCOM because they're hard at work on the Alpha Centauri remake.
oh, you mean Civ Beyond Earth?
It's Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
But let's be fair.
Never actually played Alpha Centauri.
It's good. It's old. It shows its age, but it's a good game.
But anyway, XCOM, man. Give me more of
So,
that.
Blandy, what else have you been playing on your phone?
Well, then what I really bought the $25 Google Play gift card for, because I don't like giving out my information.
Uh-huh.
Oh, jeez.
I bought Final Fantasy VI Remake because I heard it was fucking terrible. So I haven't played much of it.
Those games are like $20, aren't they?
It's
They're
$15.99.
$15.99.
That's a lot for a mobile game. But again, that
It's a
goes
lot.
back to the, it's, $30 on a Game Boy or something like that. So is it worth it for a phone?
I don't know. They washed out the Pixel. Like they said they've updated it.
Okay.
It looks like an 8-year-old was coloring in a color book.
Is it stylized? Is it...
No! There's no. It's like it's the fucking. It's like it's the 32-bit game, but it's kind of just like, well, we're gonna smooth out these edges.
Okay.
It
and
reminds
then
me.
We're gonna
What,
put in some paint.
yeah. It
And
reminds me of
there
when
we
they
go.
tried to. Okay. It reminds me of when they tried to colorize the black and white movies, and they just look god awful. Like you get those colorized versions of like Night of the Living Dead and.
Okay, yeah, because the contrast isn't
Mm-hmm.
as good. Everything just kind of looks... All right.
They changed Figaro from a castle to like this fucking just room thing. Like when you walk inside, it's fine, but when you're outside, it shows like the complete layout of what essentially is supposed to be a castle, but instead it just has the layout. I haven't played much of it.
Okay, I was just saying, is it something that you're just kind of abandoning because it's just not as good, or is it just disappointing?
No,
that
I won't
it's-
abandon it because I want to see if the rumors are true. Apparently, there's a game-breaking bug. I don't know if they fixed it yet. I'll have to look that up. But apparently there was a game-breaking bug where when you get up to spoilers, it's a 20-year-old game. There's no spoilers anymore.
Spoilers.
Uh,
I haven't played it yet.
Spoiler alert.
Tough shit.
all right.
Oh, no,
When
don't
you-
ruin it. Don't ruin it. Come on.
All right. There is a fight in which you fight Kefka. You fight him many times.
Oh man,
Yeah.
now you just ruined the whole game for me.
Great. So
Anyway, keep going.
you're fighting him with someone, and it's a certain general. Viewers, maybe you know, but apparently when you fight him, fucking after you fight him,
You're so good at stories.
it stops. The game stops.
It just crashes.
It just crashes.
So in other words, it's a game-breaking bug.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thanks for
Game
walking us through
breaking
that.
bug. Well,
All
I,
right.
I don't know how to explain it without spoiling. the
Don't
story.
worry about it. Just say it
But
crashes
the
at a
point
certain
is the
Yeah.
fight.
part of the game.
You get
In
to
the
a certain
fight,
part,
it's
it crashes.
hilarious because once the fight is over, end game. It's fucking funny. If you people know the part in which I'm saying, it's very humorous because the game just stops.
If you know the part of which I vaguely referred to,
You might find it amusing. All right.
Okay.
Well, what else have you been playing other than is it pretty much all mobile phone games or?
But that's what I've been doing with my week.
Right
that
on.
Doctor Who game swallowed up my life.
That's what they're designed for.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing instead of playing Civ 5 when we had game night last week.
Hey,
Probably.
probably.
All right, Neil. What have you been playing this week?
All right, I've crossed a bridge that I didn't think I would ever cross. I don't know. I don't know if it was. I don't know what the reason behind it, but I've always found this game to be stupid and utterly fucking stupid, and I never wanted to touch it, but I did. I touched it. It's
What?
Animal Crossing.
Okay. Which Animal Crossing?
Wild World, I think.
Is that
What?
for DS?
Yeah, Wild World for DS. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
DS. Okay.
Um, It's pretty addicting. It is. It's
Well,
fucked up how addicting it is.
So I
So
think,
I can pick flowers.
yeah.
Like, and that's what I really like doing in Skyrim. Let's break it down. Break down Skyrim and Oblivion and all those games. Break them down for me, and it really is picking flowers. Like that's what I do. And this
do
is
it out.
another outlet for that. I can garden in game form, and I like it. I do.
Planting fruits, and
I can
I'll
plant it.
fire up my my town, and I'll give you some of my fruits.
Oh, nice.
Can you do?
No. You have the 3DS one, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
he got the DS one. The 3DS one is a lot better.
Well,
Uh.
I really enjoyed the DS one. I think it suits a mobile device a lot better than a console. Firing up a console and playing for 30 minutes is not super encouraging, but it's something you can easily do on a handheld device.
Mhm.
You know, collect your fruit, go fishing. So what are you liking about it other than collecting your flowers? Is it just the monotony, like the kind of walking around, kind of doing your chores?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, there's nothing measurable about it.
Well,
It's
there's
nothing.
the scale of your house. You know, you're constantly upgrading your house.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if I would do that, I would be constantly doing that. Right. But I pick the flowers and I plant the flowers and I pick fruit. Although I still haven't figured out what to do with the fruit, so I eat a lot of fruit.
You sell it.
You sell the fruit, but nobody wants to buy it. Nobody's buying.
Ah, you can
Nobody's
sell it
buying
in
what
the
I'm
store.
selling.
You
Oh.
donate anything to the museums at all, or?
I haven't done that yet. No, I'm not very far into it. I probably played it for like 3 hours, 4 hours.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a single sitting of Animal Crossing. You just play a little
Yeah.
bit each day.
Yeah. No, I don't like games like that. That's dumb.
It is a strangely addicting game.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Trying to think of anything else I've played. Oh, what did I?
Yes.
Oh, I played Monopoly for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, I did.
Okay,
definitely
is
play
the computer a cheating son of a bitch, as they often were for those console versions of board games?
that. The computer is the worst cheating son of a bitch, and it changes the rules for its own game.
Oh
It
my
doesn't make
God,
any sense.
That shit drove me nuts as a little kid. Like, whenever I tried to play any of those games, like, I remember having, like, Monopoly and shit for, like, the
Right.
Tandy, and it's like, there's no fucking way. No fucking way you are not cheating.
And it won't trade. It might trade, but it's gonna make it like I'll take everything that you own, and that's how
Yeah,
I'll
it's
trade with you.
always, it has to be such a ridiculous deal in its favor that you might as well not even suggest it.
Right. Yeah. So that was fun.
Garbage.
That was a lot of fun.
But again, I think those were designed for, like, couch co-op. Back in the day, it was one of the few games where it's like, oh, the whole family can play this. Get your multi-tap.
It definitely brought the whole family into play. So I played that a little bit, but that was it. That was really it. Animal Crossing sucked up my time, and I played a lot of Super Hexagon. I think that now that that's on my phone, that's a really bad thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally beat hard the first mode,
Oh,
so
jeez.
it's a pretty big day. It was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I do love how in Super Hexagon the modes are like the difficulties are harder, hardest. So
Fuck your face.
yeah, I've beat the first one, so we'll try for harder.
I couldn't even imagine beating a single level of Super Hexagon. Unless the level is like 40 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like, I don't know, because when I went on a pretty decent run, and I got to like 130 seconds. Not 130, but a minute 30 seconds. So that's like, that beats my next score by 30 seconds.
That's like Jedi fucking reflexes at that point.
Right. I don't know. It was like the
You just
devil
get in the zone,
took a hold
man.
of me.
It's
Yeah.
get in the groove.
Yep.
Right on.
So that's it. That's what I played.
So this week, I played a lot of older games. I went back to Final Fantasy VII. There was a really good retrospective on kind of the Final Fantasy VII story and all this stuff on YouTube from That One Video Gamer, and kind of inspired me to boot it up and just a very nostalgic game. It's a game I can almost play in my sleep at this point because I've played it so many times as a child that just firing it up, it's like, oh yeah, okay, do this, and this is where this is, and but it's still really fun. And god damn, is the music incredible in that game! It still blows me away how every single piece of music in that game is utterly amazing. Um, so spent a lot of time with that, kind of just put a couple hours into it. I also picked up Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Sega Genesis, which I had never played the Sega Genesis version. It was something that my friend always had, for Super Nintendo, and we would go over and play. But never realized that there was a Sega Genesis version. And it is very clearly not the superior version. It's not bad. It's just different. Everything's kind of squashed because your map and everything are a bar on the right hand side. Colors are a little bit flatter, but it controls just fine. The gameplay is just fine. I didn't really notice any kind of lag or anything too substantial. But it was significantly cheaper than the Super Nintendo version, which is why I purchased it. And I still think it would be a good time kind of playing two-player, where that game kind of shined. Did you guys ever play Zombies Ate My Neighbors as a kid?
No.
I did.
It
It was
No
fun.
one played
It's a
it.
fun little game.
It's a really good co-op game, and it is shit hard. Like, it is just brutal once you kind of get to, the later levels. And are the levels completely random? I don't really remember.
I don't remember either.
The way it sets up, like, you kind of go, there's a handful of boards, and kind of the scenarios change, but I don't know, I really like it. And then other than that, I spent a little bit of time with the demo that was released for Mario Golf for the 3DS.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it is really good looking game. The first party games they've been putting out for the 3DS just look fantastic. 3D is perfectly competent. It's a golf game, so it's just kind of the effect. It's not necessary to play at all. It plays very similarly to the classic, GameCube version, 64 version. My only real complaint is the way you kind of handle where on the ball you hit. It's when you're swinging, you kind of have to use the thumbstick to kind of position it on the ball, and it's I'm sure it's something you just have to get used to, but it's not something you can line up right away. So you can't perfectly line up your shots like you could on the GameCube. But the levels are really interesting. They give you like 3 different courses to kind of try out. You get the first 3 holes of each of those. They're kind of your standard fare where it goes from, hey, this is just kind of a normal golf course, to this one has some weird stuff in it, to this one's just completely batshit insane and it has like things that throw your ball across and like, crazy islands. And so true to Nintendo sports form, there's kind of a sanity range in the types of courses you can play, and then they included 2 kind of alternate courses that I don't really remember in any of the previous versions, but there's one, it's like a ring shot, so there's gold rings kind of throughout these longer courses, and you have to land your ball in the rings. They're like floating in the air. They're like 3-dimensional. So like, some things you have to arc through it, things like that. And you have to get par in order to qualify and hit all these rings. So it's just kind of like a perfect score kind of obstacle course. The other one is like a coin challenge. This one is a bit broader. It's like Peach's Coin Challenge or something like that. And the courses are kind of really wide and really large. And you kind of collect coins, and you have a little bit more free range of where you're putting the ball. But is still very similar to kind of the ring where you're kind of hitting these objectives on your way to the hole. I honestly didn't enjoy them as much, but what I played of the three, it was essentially 6 holes on 3 different courses. Uh, if you like the other Mario Golf games, it works really, really well on the handheld. Um, I don't know what kind of multiplayer is going to be in it. If I could play through the web, with some friends, like through Wi-Fi, not in the same house, not local multiplayer, that game would be close to the perfect kind of Mario Golf game. I still might prefer it on a console, but with what they're doing with the 3DS, those games are really impressive, and it doesn't seem like they're, other than fidelity, you're really losing anything in those games. So if you have a 3DS, I would suggest picking up the demo. It's in true Nintendo fashion. You can open it 15 times before it eats its own head or whatever the fuck it does. But yeah, if you like Mario Golf, it is the next one of those. And if you're interested, it's probably because you really enjoyed all the other iterations, and rightfully so. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I guess we can move on to news.
News.
There's a couple things kind of in the news. I don't know if it was a surprise, but it was a surprise to me that there was a Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, boy!
They kind of came out with a lot of information, a lot of gameplay video. Holy damn, does that game look good.
Yeah, but the deal!
Okay, so
The deal! I'm excited.
in the US, if you buy your Mario Kart 8 and register it before July 4th, you get a free downloadable game, which is really fucking cool. So you can choose between New Super Mario Bros. U, Pikmin 3, Wind Waker, or Wii Party U.
And these aren't just little tiny titles, these are big fucking titles!
They are big fucking titles. My only complaint, and I know this is a
BFTs.
terrible fucking complaint, I own all of these. And I have a feeling that most people
You
who
can
own a
trade
Wii
one
U,
in!
How do you mean trade one in?
If
Trade
you
the
didn't
copy
buy it
that you have
digitally,
in.
You could trade one in.
But I want my physical copy. That's the reason I buy them physical.
Well, then, I don't know.
So the
Give
only
the code
reason,
away!
The only reason I'm indignant about that is that the UK got another 4 or 5 games. They have twice what we got. And some smaller titles like Mario Game & Watch or whatever it was called, Game & Wario, and a couple others. I don't have them in front of me, unfortunately. And it just seems like the UK got the better bundle. They got
they got the better Mario.
Blue Shell action figures and stuff like that.
See, there might be reasoning behind that, though.
Oh yeah, they definitely need to push sales more
Exactly.
in the UK than they do in the U. I'm not saying it's not justified, and what I'll probably end up doing is picking up Wind Waker, because that's something I will pop on, and I might not want to search for a disc or whatever. That makes the most.
Yeah,
sense
I'm
to
probably
me to
gonna get
have
Wind Waker too.
on as a digital download.
Maybe
well, if
Wii
I
Party.
decide to buy a Wii U and Mario Kart,
Or shit,
Right.
maybe I'll just give you assholes one of the codes too. So that's also not.
well, I don't have a Wii U, so
Well, you'll be buying one because Smash is coming out in the winter. So.
Smash.
that's true.
But the Nintendo Direct just kind of gave a little bit more information. They showed a lot more of the courses, kind of some of the new power-ups and stuff work. There were 2 power-ups that kind of caught my eye. There's the Crazy 8, because it's Mario Party 8. One of the power-ups is just the number fucking 8. And it just gives you 8 random power-ups, which I feel like it's kind of like the stars, you were fucking doing terrible, so we're just going to throw all the power-ups at you.
Good old rubber banding.
Yeah, and probably the most interesting one, as corny as it sounds, is the Super Horn. So the Super Horn is basically a block with a horn on it, and it's a little shockwave, right? So if you're kind of in a tight cluster of people, and you have this, you can hit all of them, and it's like hitting them with a shell. They kind of bounce around, which is fucking great because there was never really kind of an area of attack power up. But what's even cooler is if you get one of these and you hold on to it and you're in first place, it can be used to deflect the blue shell, which was unstoppable before. So it was this weird little balance that they introduced because I'm sure everyone just hated the invincible blue shell because it basically could change the game. So I thought that was super interesting that they added that kind of balance. There's like 30 characters. It's a lot of, like all the Koopa kids are in it now. But it's like
Choice.
Pink, Gold, Peach, which I assumed it's just a Peach character that's a heavy class, like a Bowser kind of weight equivalent. There's like
Because they can't put fat women in this.
Pink,
No.
Gold, Peach?
Yeah, they're fucking weird. There's like Baby Rosalina.
Rosalina.
I don't remember if you could do this in the Wii one that came out because I don't own it, but you can play as a Mii, which I think is really cool, especially if you're playing like multiplayer.
It's definitely neat.
Very cool.
But yeah, it just looked really interesting. All the levels kind of looked very diverse. They have the anti-gravity now where you're like flying on the ceiling. I'm like, it is what it is, but they have a really good track record. I'm not too worried about it. And there was a
no-brainer.
release date, but I don't remember when it was. I want to say it's the end of May. But I could be wrong.
It's May 30th.
Okay. Yeah, so May 30th is when it would launch. In other news, I still don't know how I feel about this or how accurate it is, but apparently they found the fabled Atari landfill.
I
yeah,
saw
that's-
that.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
A little bit of background for anyone who doesn't know. Back during the big video game bust in, I guess, the late 80s, mid 80s, Atari just was churning out shit, and they had way too many cartridges, and the entire kind of home console thing went bust. And they had all this product that they didn't know what to do with. So the rumor was that they filled like 2 trucks full of, at the time, the rumor was this
Is
ET
it ET?
cartridge that is
Is it
just complete and utter shit. But it practically they said they filled it with just all the product they couldn't sell, and a lot of it, of course, would be this garbage
ET.
game.
E.T.
Drove
It was
out to
ET.
drove it out in the desert in New Mexico and buried it. And it was kind of this rumor for a very long time that was like, no fucking way would a company do that, just bury trucks full of their product because they couldn't sell. And it was this Xbox-produced reality documentary thing that's going around. Started digging in this site in New Mexico, and they have claimed to have found the landfill. There's tons of pictures online. You
Yeah,
can
there's
look it up.
pictures, there's video, like, it happened.
Yeah, it's just really weird, and it is. There's a lot of ET in there, but it's it's a lot of
There's
Atari
also
product. It's just clearly it was they had warehouses full of this shit that they could not sell. It was worth less than trash, and they had to get rid of it.
Well, yeah, it was.
Granted, it was in a landfill.
It wasn't a landfill at all. Like it was literally just buried out in the middle of the desert.
No, it
no, it
was
was
Oh,
in
oh,
a
okay.
landfill.
Okay,
Like,
so at least it was properly
buried
disposed
in
of.
a
There's
landfill.
not going to be retroactive lawsuits for poisoning the New Mexico desert.
But they're the ones. They're the ones that like created the crash of '83.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was
by-
just overproduction, and that's where the Nintendo seal of quality came from, because so many games were being produced and there was no way to know if the thing was even playable. Like,
Right.
it just got out of control. Basically what's happening with fucking mobile games in this day and age, where it's just this
Yep.
kind of overproductive glut of shit on the device, and you don't know what's good and what's bad. The nice thing is they're not physical, so all you're doing is wasting memory and a couple dollars.
Well, also back then they didn't have reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, you could
Now you
definitely
can't.
hide behind a property like E.T. and be like, you all fucking love this movie, clearly you want the video game,
Right,
Well,
and
you
then
know
you
it
get
only-
it, and it's complete dog shit.
It only took they only spent 6 weeks on that game.
Really?
When- Yeah, I mean that's what I was reading. Like they spent 6 weeks on that game when back then it typically took at least 6 months.
I mean, that
Um,
was an age too. Like when you coded a game, it was machine language. Like you didn't have these game engines. You didn't have these, systems to, tweak things and QA. Like everything was hard coded. Like these are intensive games to make.
Well, like I said, they spent about 6 weeks on it. I mean that was from what I read, and there's probably it sounds like there's a reason this game was shit. And
I own a copy of it.
almost single-handedly caused the downfall of.
Did you say you own it?
Oh yeah, I own a copy of ET.
Have you
Absolutely.
have you played it?
No, I haven't because my Atari requires cables that are a pain in the ass to use on a modern television.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can get like adapters and stuff like that, but it's like this weird thing. But
Is it like the two-pronged fork guys?
it is, yes,
Yeah.
the
is.
ground and the. So
Right.
I'll eventually hook it up. It's
Well, I
in a
think you can
box.
play through it in about 15 minutes.
But I have a bunch of other Atari games that I'd really like to play too. So it's
Said no one ever.
really.
Not
Well,
since 1983.
Oh,
My
man.
neighbor had an Atari, and I enjoyed the time we spent with Atari playing, fucking Adventure and Battle Tanks and all those.
Ay. I mean,
Ay.
Pitfall is okay if you don't mind stabbing yourself in the throat. But and is 1942 on Atari?
No, I think that's a Nintendo, isn't it? The airplane game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's NES, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Or like Robo Warrior. Is that what that game was called?
well, didn't they have like a really shitty version of Galaga?
Oh yeah. There was all the arcade ports, like I have Defender and Pac-Man and all of those.
They're terrible, right? Like,
They're rudimentary versions. It's no different than when you played a game in the arcade, like a beat 'em up, on an arcade machine, and then you tried to play it on the Sega or Super Nintendo. Like there was an absolute loss of quality and fidelity in those games.
Yeah.
what
terrible.
a different
They're
age
terrible.
we live in now. Like, it's so crazy how different it is, because if you go into an arcade now, it's like the worst time in video games. Like,
They don't have air conditioning in there.
no.
Try to play DDR. You'll get hot.
Oh,
You'll
you're gonna
die.
sweat. You're gonna sweat
Is
like
there-
crazy.
Is there even an arcade around here anymore?
I
Is the
don't.
one is the one
Yeah,
in the
there's
mall
still
still
the one
there?
at Parks. Yeah, there's still one in the big mall.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was still there or not.
It's something that whenever I see them, when I'm out and about and I see an arcade, no matter how small, I have to walk through and be like, all right, what do we have here? And if there's Crazy Taxi, I'll usually drop a buck or two into it because I fucking love Crazy Taxi.
You can find some nuts like Japanese games now in small
Really?
arcades. Like you'll see more and more that kind of Japanese game creeping through, which is kind of cool. I like that.
There's a
aspect
Taito Drum Master machine at the Works, or at least there used to be, and I fucking love that game.
of it. Nice.
What about Bobby's Baseball Camp? Do they have a sheet for
I
that?
don't think they have a Bobby's Baseball Camp simulator now.
Darn.
But
Oh.
anyway, yeah, this was a cool story. I've been following it since they announced the documentary and they announced that they were going to do it.
It's not often that an urban myth gets verified like this. Like, it was always kind of this, like, oh, no fucking way would they do something like that. And sure as shit.
Lo and behold, yeah.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom.
So yeah, I'll definitely watch it when it's released, or if it's released, or I'll figure out some way to get on it, because I have a 360, but I don't have any of the subscriptions or anything. I'm sure I can buy it for like $5 eventually on some digital platform.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Microsoft is not going to be. They want your money.
You talking about paying money for ET?
No, for the-
this
The
documentary.
documentary. I was
documentary,
gonna say why?
He already did once. Why
I
would he do
know.
it again?
I
Why?
spent 99 cents for ET.
Still, That's 99 cents more than you should have.
I was supporting my local video game store
All right, I guess.
I guess that's a good point.
to
At this,
own
at
a
this,
piece of history.
at
Because
this
now
point.
it is literally a piece of history. Now that the fucking landfill has been vilified. Like,
Well, that's the thing. If it was one of those landfill cartridges, then
Yeah,
Well,
there's
that's-
no way you can
that's
prove it.
everyone's saying is like they're all rubbing dirt on their old Atari cartridges.
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
them on eBay for like $50. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there is no way, and they're all warped and whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not. They weren't
It'd be
in a
funny if they
locker
still worked.
for this long. They were in a desert
The
in
ground.
fucking New Mexico.
Well,
Like,
depending on how deep they're buried, well, probably not in a landfill, but if you bury something in sand, like that actually could preserve it for quite a while.
yeah, but they didn't bury it in
They aren't
sand. They
bodies.
buried it in old diapers and tomato skins.
Fair point.
It's not like a mummified body.
Yeah. I've got some big news. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah?
if does anyone else have something?
Nah, that's all I got.
This is big to me anyway. George R.R. Martin just went on record as saying that he's going to work with Telltale to make a Game of Thrones game.
I saw
Arr,
that
arr,
too.
Sold.
Yeah, absolutely
Sold.
sold. Like, this is the biggest,
Congratulations, Telltale. You found another way for me to give you money.
right?
Like I saw that I saw that they hired a story consultant. I wasn't sure if it was specifically him or not though.
Yeah, George R.R.
It is?
Martin.
Okay.
arr, Mark.
Oh, wait. No, never mind.
So I would
It's his personal assistant.
Okay.
assume
So that's
that
my bad. I read the headline, and that's why you don't read headlines. You read
those
the
games
plot.
you really have to craft like every single experience like to make those trees. So I'm sure he's just kind of saying, you have my blessing and we'll review it, but
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
have faith in Telltale. What they did with The Walking Dead and what they did with The Wolf Among Us, I'm fine. I'm in.
Walking
whatever.
Dead was okay because partially Walking Dead was very good.
Walking
And
Dead was wonderful. How
It-
dare you, sir?
It was very good in spite of the fact that the Walking Dead universe is fucking kind of dumb. Like, I mean, it's just
Oh, like the-
Atlanta.
The
Like,
comics or the game.
I'm just talking about the universe in which The Walking Dead takes place.
Okay.
It's just
Well-
zombie apocalypse dystopian Atlanta.
Neil, you didn't beat it yet.
But
Did you?
the whole point is character development. Like those games are not
Yeah.
about the worlds are just a setting. It's your interaction and how you deal with the situations you're put in and how those people react to you that make those games compelling.
I think you're trying to argue with me before you even hear my point,
Okay.
Okay.
which is ridiculous. My point is that's a mediocre setting. Game of Thrones has an amazing, fantastical setting, and I just think that I know that the games are made for storyline and character development, but I'd rather be in fucking I don't know in
Westeros.
Harrenhal or just anywhere really. Anywhere in that game, anywhere that they would plop you down in that game, or I would be like this.
Well, unless you're in that torture place where they're gonna cut off your dick.
Yeah.
no, it would still be amazing. Yeah,
It would still be more fun than in zombified Atlanta.
yeah. Than zombie dystopian apocalypse Atlanta.
But I think that's they do have that advantage of they can take that kind of single area. Like they don't have to do the entire Game of Thrones universe, and that's what's exciting is they can just pick, this one town. They could do this one fucking bar, and like you said, like because the world is as rich as it is, like okay, next episode we're gonna go to this kingdom,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of potential if it's well done. I'm definitely more excited for that than I was for the news for the Borderlands one. Like the Borderlands one sounds cool, but I feel
I'm
like
super excited.
comic book and literary properties lend themselves much better because of the substance that you can, build on.
Right.
Or video games just like, oh, this crazy shit's happening in the background.
I mean, nothing against Borderlands. You guys know that I love Borderlands, but that's not an interesting universe. It's kind of
Anthony
a one-trick pony. when
It's
it
just
comes down to
wacky.
it.
It's
Right.
it's surreal.
Right, but you go to the same bar every time you get, like
Yeah.
like there
Oh,
are
absolutely.
4 places that you hang out in that game. So, I don't know. But that has me pumped. Also, Paperboy has come to the Oculus Rift, which I'm a little excited.
Oh
about.
God, no.
Yeah, so that should be kind of fun to play.
I tried to play that again recently. I have never been good at Paperboy ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just hard. It's wicked hard. It's
It
like
is
anything
wicked
from
hard.
back
I
then.
tried to play the Super Nintendo one and was just getting nowhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the cars come out of nowhere. They come out of freaking nowhere.
The guy doing the fucking leg presses in the middle of the road or breakdancing or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like
I forgot that game existed. Oh man.
Yeah, Paperboy. That is burnt into my memory banks. I don't know why or for what reason, but Paperboy's in there.
Oh yeah.
So that's it for my news. Anybody else?
Mario died.
Oh yeah.
Mario.
From the Mario movie, Mario passed away.
Bob
What?
Hoskins.
Bob
Yeah,
Hoskins?
today.
Bob Hoskins
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
man.
dead.
died of pneumonia.
That's
Wow. That does stink.
Now I'm
Yeah.
kinda sad.
I think we should all watch Super Mario Brothers to mourn his loss. Probably
Mario, and Luigi
I-
Mario.
I would probably rather watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but that's cool too. We
I
can
don't know.
watch-
I've been looking for an excuse to watch Hook, and he was pretty fantastic as Smee.
Okay, all right, favorite role. Let's do it. Yours would be Hook.
Favorite role or best role?
Let's go with
No, his favorite role.
our favorite. Yeah, favorite. Hook.
I think Smee as in Hook.
Smee was good.
Like
Yeah.
he was just a lovable character in that.
Well, he also played Smee in another thing as well. I can't remember. No, it was the sci-fi.
You don't have to yell.
I'm not yelling. The sci-fi miniseries of Pan.
Oh really?
Yeah, he played Smee again,
I never saw that.
and
I
he
never
was
saw
still good again.
How about you, Joel? What was your favorite?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't know what his character name was.
Eddie Valiant.
Okay, that.
Neil?
I'm going darker with it. My favorite role. I always like. Yeah, Unleashed. I always like
I knew it.
when
knew
the
it.
good guys go bad, man.
That was in my mind, but
Yeah, he blows it out of the park. He's one of the best villains that has ever graced the screen, and that movie's just fantastic. So,
Was he in Layer Cake too?
this really I consider myself a cinephile, and I still have yet to watch Layer Cake. I've watched the first 10 minutes of it probably 20 times, and I can't get further than that.
I
It's
think
just-
he was. We'll have to go on IMDb after this and look it
Yeah.
up. But yes, he passed away yesterday or today.
Well, Ryan, what's
Man.
your favorite? You never said.
Oh,
Mario,
yeah.
Mario.
Oh, Mario.
Made in
Mario.
Manhattan. I lied. That's my favorite.
Made in Manhattan.
Made in Manhattan.
I never saw that either.
I didn't really see it either.
I will say,
Dude, he
Bob
was in.
Hoskins.
Okay,
That was-
hold on. Time out. He was in Spice World.
Oh, was he?
I was just about to buy a VHS copy of Spice World
Yeah, it was
yesterday with
yesterday.
Ryan.
And
in
you were
Spice
giving
World.
me
Well, like
shit
Spice
about
World
owning
Life.
ET, and you were gonna buy a VHS copy of fucking Spice World.
It was for a gift. My friend's having a baby shower. What more perfect gift to give than a VHS copy of Spice World? Spice up your life.
Spice up your life.
Yeah.
I hate all of you. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Pixel Ship Podcast. Again, you can find our website at pixelship.net. I've been Ryan Hayes with Neil Lebo,
Spice up your life.
Joel Hartlob,
Deuces.
and Ryan Blandy.
Neil took my sign off.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you all next week.